Hola amigos, we are The Roots. In this vlog, we are sharing with you the ups and downs of our mission to travel and experience as much from life as possible. So please join us on this our journey. So, Mr. Root, where in the world are we?
On today's episode, after a rough start on our honeymoon, we continue south to Peru. Welcome to Lake Titicaca.
If you watch our previous videos, then you know that Brian and I tied the knot in Hawaii. In the next few videos, we're sharing with you our honeymoon adventure that started a little bumpy with a car crash in Mexico. And if you haven't seen it, please go back to our previous video to find out what happened. Quick recap. We flew from Phoenix to Mexico City, spent a few days with my sister, and then we got into a car crash. And then from there, we flew from Mexico City to Lima, Peru. I gotta say, the flight was absolutely miserable. We were in a lot of pain. Anyway, we made it to Lima, spent a night at a little hotel close to the airport to be able to catch an early flight next morning to a little town of Juliaca, close to the Lake Titicaca, where we spent a few days, and later we flew to Cusco. Lake Titicaca is a large, deep lake in the Andes, close to the border of Bolivia. It's called the highest navigable lake in the world. At an elevation of 3,812 meters or 12,507 feet on elevation, it's a dry, cold area. Our tour guide took us around the floating islands of Uros, where they gave us coca leaf tea to contrast the elevation sickness. And honestly, oh my God, this tea helped us so much with our pain caused by the accident back in Mexico. The islands and their people are an absolute cultural shock. These people have been living, floating like this for hundreds of years in a very cold and isolated lake. Honestly, after seeing how little they have, it totally made us appreciate our life. We learned that in the Peruvian culture, there is not really a macho mentality. Men and women pull kinda at the same pace. All work, men even help on the textile work, knitting and sewing. The women drive these boats and do men jobs with no problem. You can see the hardship of their lives on this dry environment on their faces. They seem to age a little young, and the lines on the faces can tell you their story if you pay attention. After the Uros, our tour guide took us to the island of Amantani, where we spent a night in the guest room of a native family. There are 10 little villages in the island with plus minus 4,000 natives. They all host tourists from around the world in a rotation basis, so they all make a fair living out of this. A few interesting things that we learned from the island are that there are no dogs. They consider dogs for protection, and apparently the island is one of the safest places in Peru. They don't even have a police. Everybody knows each other and protects each other. They are like a whole family. They have an interesting political system of finger pointing their leaders and their representatives as they pick them as per the quality of the character, their work ethics, their intelligence, and their kindness. Another interesting factor is the way they reprimand their kids. They get whipped, and the amount of whips depends on the crime. Needless to say that their kids behave pretty well. We were hosted by Jovita. After we settled down on her guest room, she gave us a delicious lunch. More coca-lee and muñe, of course. And then Juanito, our guide, took us to a hike to the iconic Pachatata mountain that is located basically in the middle of the island. Pachatata basically means Father Earth, and in the top of the mountain there is a temple dedicated to him. There is a very nice trail that takes you basically to the top of the mountain. I gotta say that the hike was extremely hard for us. We were in a lot of pain, and the trail is basically uphill. I don't know how many hundreds of feet more on elevation we gained on that, but it felt like 1,000. But once you make it to the top, my God, the views are incredible. You can see the Andes from there, and you can see all around the lake, 360 degrees. It's absolutely breathtaking. Spending this one night in the island, learning their way of life, eating their awesome food, and bathing on the beauty of their people was a very spiritual and honestly humbling experience that we will forever be thankful for. Next morning, after Jovita's awesome breakfast and more coca and muña leaf tea, of course, we took a water taxi to the mainland where Juanito took us back to Juliaca's airport to be able to catch our flight to Cusco. So we catch up with you guys on our next video from Cusco.
Thank you for hanging out with us today. Please give us a big thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't done so yet. And until next time, hasta luego, amigos.